My girlfriend said, I scheduled your vasectomy consultation without asking. My body, my choice means your body, my choice too. I replied, interesting logic. Then I called the clinic, canceled it, and scheduled her a consultation with a therapist instead, in her name, prepaid, non-refundable. When she got the confirmation email with the appointment details, I, 29 male, got an email confirmation yesterday that made me do a triple take. Subject line, your vasectomy consultation confirmed for next Tuesday. My what now? Opened it. Full appointment details, Dr. Henderson at the Men's Health Clinic across town. Date, time, pre-procedure instructions. Even a link to download informational PDFs about the procedure and recovery. I've never scheduled a vasectomy, never even considered it. I'm 29, no kids, and while I'm not desperate to be a dad tomorrow, I definitely want that option down the road. Called the clinic immediately. Hi, I received a confirmation email, but I didn't schedule this appointment. Receptionist clicks around. Let me check. Yes, the appointment was made last Thursday by Danielle Foster. She used your information and said you'd requested she handle the scheduling since you're busy with work. My girlfriend, Danielle. We've been together 18 months, living together for 6. I need to cancel that immediately. Of course, Mr. Patterson. Canceled. Would you like to reschedule? No, definitely not. Hung up, sat there staring at my laptop screen. She scheduled me for a vasectomy, without asking, without even mentioning it, just decided. Danielle got home around 6 p.m. I was making pasta, acting normal, needed to see how this played out. Hey babe, she kissed my cheek, grabbed a wine glass. How was your day? Interesting, got a weird email. Oh yeah, pouring wine, not really paying attention. Confirmation for a vasectomy consultation. Next Tuesday. Any idea how that happened? She froze for half a second, then turned with this bright smile. Oh good, the clinic got back to you. I wasn't sure how long it would take. Got back to me? Danielle? I didn't schedule anything. I know, silly. I did it for you. Figured I'd save you the hassle since you're always complaining about being too busy. Said it like she'd picked up my dry cleaning. You scheduled me for a vasectomy consultation, without asking me. Well yeah, we've talked about not wanting kids. We've talked about not wanting kids right now. We're 27 and 29. That's different from permanently removing the option. She waved her hand dismissively. You're overthinking it. It's reversible anyway if you change your mind. Reversals aren't guaranteed. And that's not the point. The point is, you made a medical decision about my body without my consent. Her expression shifted. Less cheerful, more defensive. Okay, don't be dramatic. I'm just being proactive about our future. We both agreed kids aren't in the plan. We said not right now. And even if we'd agreed on never having kids, you don't get to schedule surgery for me. It's not surgery, it's a consultation. And honestly, my body, my choice means I shouldn't have to worry about birth control forever. It's your turn to handle it. There it was. So your body, your choice, means my body, your choice too? That's not what She paused. Look, I've been on birth control since I was 16. 11 years of hormones messing with my body. I'm done with that, and condoms suck. So yes, I think it's reasonable to ask you to step up. Asking me is fine. Scheduling a procedure without my knowledge isn't asking. It's controlling. Oh my God, you're making this such a big deal. I was trying to help. By removing my reproductive autonomy. She slammed her wine glass down. Why are you being so difficult? It's literally one appointment. Just go talk to the doctor. It's not like I scheduled the actual surgery. I already canceled it. Her face went red. You what? Called the clinic. Canceled. I'm not going. Brandon, that was incredibly immature. What's immature is making medical appointments for another adult without their permission. She grabbed her phone, started typing furiously. This is ridiculous. I'm rescheduling it. Don't. Someone has to be the adult here and think about our future. Then think about therapy, because this controlling behavior isn't normal. She looked up from her phone, eyes narrow. Excuse me? You need to talk to someone about boundaries, about respecting your partner's autonomy. I don't need therapy. I need a partner who actually considers my needs instead of being selfish. I turned off the stove, suddenly wasn't hungry. I'm considering your needs. You want off birth control? Okay, let's discuss alternatives. But you don't get to decide my medical procedures. That's not negotiable. She scoffed. Whatever, I'm going to bed. After she left, I sat there thinking. This wasn't the first controlling thing she'd done. She'd surprised me by donating my vintage band t-shirt collection last month because she didn't like how they looked. Rearranged my home office without asking because it wasn't optimized. Threw out my gaming chair and bought a new one because the old one was ugly. But this crossed a line I didn't know could be crossed. Had an idea, probably petty, definitely satisfying. Googled therapists near me accepting new patients. Found Dr. Patricia Chen. Wait, no Chen. Dr. Patricia Newberry, licensed clinical psychologist. Had evening appointments available. Online scheduling. Filled out the new patient form. Name, Danielle Foster. Email, her personal email. Phone, her number. Reason for visit: difficulty respecting partner boundaries, controlling behavior patterns, need help understanding bodily autonomy concepts. Selected next Wednesday, 6 p.m. The prepayment was $180, non-refundable if canceled less than 24 hours before. Added my credit card. Session booked, confirmation sent to her email. Interesting logic indeed. Update 1. The confirmation email hit her inbox around 10 p.m. that night. I was in the living room when I heard the shriek from the bedroom. Brandon, get in here. Walked in casually. She was sitting up in bed, laptop open, face absolutely purple with rage. What the hell is this? She shoved the screen toward me. Appointment confirmation from Dr. Newberry's office. All the details. Looks like a therapy appointment. I can see that. Why did I just get a confirmation for therapy? Oh, I scheduled it for you. Figured I'd save you the hassle since you're always complaining about being too busy. Her mouth literally fell open. You did not just... I did. Seemed like you needed someone professional to talk to about boundaries and consent. Dr. Newberry has excellent reviews. Cancel it. Can't. It's non-refundable after booking. Already paid the $180. Then you can eat the cost because I'm not going. I shrugged. Your call. But the appointment exists, and honestly, the irony of you being furious about me scheduling a medical appointment for you without asking is just... I made a chef's kiss gesture. Wait, can't use that. I snapped my fingers. Perfect. This is not the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. You made a medical decision about my body. I made a mental health decision about yours. Both involve healthcare professionals. Both were done without consent. Therapy isn't the same as surgery. The consultation wasn't surgery either. That's what you said, remember? It's just a consultation, not a big deal. She was shaking with anger now. You don't get to decide if I need therapy. And you don't get to decide if I need a vasectomy. See how that works? I was trying to help our relationship, so am I. Healthy relationships require boundaries. Clearly you struggle with that concept, so I found you professional help. You're welcome. Danielle grabbed her phone. Started texting someone. Probably her sister Veronica, who she runs to for everything. I want that money back. Non-refundable. Says so in the confirmation email. Brandon, I swear to God. You swear to God what? You'll schedule more medical procedures for me without permission? Already established that's your move. She got out of bed, grabbed a pillow and blanket. I'm sleeping on the couch. Cool. I'll let Dr. Newberry know you're having trouble with communication too. The pillow hit me in the face before she stormed out. Slept surprisingly well. Woke up to find Danielle already gone. She usually works from home Fridays, but her laptop and bag were missing. Texted her, "Where are you?" No response until noon. Veronica's, "Need space to think." Me, "Okay, take your time." Her, "That's it? Just okay?" Me, "What else do you want me to say?" Maybe apologize for scheduling therapy for me like I'm broken? I'll apologize when you apologize for scheduling a vasectomy for me like I'm a child who can't make my own medical decisions. Read at 12:47 p.m. No response. Around 3 p.m. got a call from an unknown number. Hello? Is this Brandon Patterson? Yeah, this is Veronica Foster, Danielle's sister. We need to talk about what you did. Oh good. The cavalry arrives. What I did? Don't play dumb. The therapy appointment? Seriously? That's manipulative and controlling. Interesting. What would you call scheduling a vasectomy consultation for your partner without their knowledge? That's different. Danielle was trying to solve a problem in your relationship. By violating my bodily autonomy? Oh please, you're being dramatic. She was being practical. Birth control is expensive and has side effects. Then we could have discussed alternatives, like adults. not have one person make unilateral decisions about the other person's body. She's been on birth control for 11 years, Brandon. 11 years. Don't you think it's your turn? My turn to what? Get permanently sterilized because she's tired of her birth control? There are other options. IUD, the arm implant, non-hormonal methods, even male birth control trials starting soon. None of which involve anyone making medical decisions for anyone else. Veronica scoffed. So what, you scheduled therapy to punish her? That's petty. I scheduled therapy because she genuinely needs help understanding boundaries. This isn't the first controlling thing she's done. It's just the most egregious. Examples? She threw out my vintage concert shirts without asking, rearranged my entire office without permission, bought me a new desk chair without consulting me because she didn't like my old one. And now this. She has a pattern of making decisions about my life, my belongings, and apparently my body without any regard for my input. Silence. Those are just, she was trying to improve things. By overriding my choices at every turn, that's not improving things. That's being controlling, hence therapy. You can't force someone into therapy. I didn't force anything. I scheduled an appointment. Just like she did for me, she's welcome to not go and waste the $180. Her choice. She wants you to cancel it and refund the money. Can't cancel. Non-refundable. Already told her that. Then pay her back the $180. Why would I do that? Because you spent her money. I spent my money, my credit card. She spent my time and energy researching clinics and doctors for a procedure I never agreed to. We're even. Brandon, you're being unreasonable. Veronica, with all due respect, this isn't your relationship. Danielle made a choice. I responded to that choice. If she wants to come home and talk about it like adults, great. If not, also fine. But I'm not apologizing for pointing out her controlling behavior, and I'm not refunding money for an appointment she needs. She doesn't need therapy. Everyone could use therapy, but especially people who think their partner's body is their decision to make. Hung up, felt good. Got home that evening to find Danielle in the apartment, sitting on the couch with Veronica beside her. Both looked up when I walked in. Unified front, apparently. We need to talk, Danielle said. Sure. Sat in the armchair across from them. Waited. Veronica jumped in. Brandon, Danielle and I have been discussing the situation. She's willing to forgive you for the therapy thing if you agree to at least attend the vasectomy consultation. No. Just hear the doctor out. Get informed. I am informed. I've read about vasectomies. I know they're relatively safe, usually successful, sometimes reversible. I also know I don't want one right now, and I don't appreciate my partner scheduling one behind my back. Danielle leaned forward. Brandon, I'm sorry I didn't ask first, okay? I should have talked to you. But can we please just move past this? Move past it how? By me agreeing to the vasectomy? By you at least considering it and canceling that ridiculous therapy appointment. I'll consider reproductive options when you actually respect my right to make decisions about my own body. The therapy appointment stands. Brandon, I said I'm sorry. You said you're sorry you didn't ask first. That's apologizing for your method, not your action. You still think you were right to push for this. You just think you should have been nicer about it. Veronica stood up. This is going nowhere. Danielle, come on. You can stay with me until he stops being stubborn. Danielle got up, grabbed her overnight bag by the door, stopped and looked at me. The appointment is next Wednesday at 6. I'm going. I'll sit in that therapist's office and I'll tell Dr. Newberry exactly what you did and how you're the controlling one, not me. You're welcome to do that. I'm sure Dr. Newberry will have thoughts. They left. Update 2. A week is a long time when your girlfriend is staying with her sister and refusing to talk beyond passive-aggressive texts. Monday. Hope you're happy. I had to buy new work clothes because you still have my closet key. I don't. We don't have closet keys. Tuesday. Veronica says you're gaslighting me. She's probably right. Wednesday morning. Can't believe you're making me waste my evening in therapy. This is emotional abuse. I didn't respond to any of them. Let her spiral. Wednesday at 5 p.m. my phone rang. Dr. Newberry's office. Mr. Patterson? This is Kelly from Dr. Newberry's office. I'm calling about this evening's appointment with Miss Foster. Yes? She called earlier today quite upset, claiming the appointment was made without her consent. However, our records show the booking was made using her email and phone number. Payment was processed, and she hasn't formally requested cancellation. She's aware of the appointment. Whether she attends is her choice. I see. Well, I wanted to confirm, you did book this appointment? I did, as a response to her booking a medical appointment for me without my consent. It was meant to illustrate why that behavior is problematic. Pause. That's certainly an unconventional approach to couples conflict. Unconventional situation. Mr. Patterson, I need to be clear, we can't force anyone into therapy. If Miss Foster arrives and doesn't want to be here, we'll respect that. However, the fee is still non-refundable. Understood. One more thing. If she does attend, would you like her to sign a release so Dr. Newberry can discuss the session with you? No. Her therapy is her business. I just wanted her to have the option available since she clearly needs help with boundaries. Another pause. All right then, thank you for clarifying. 6:45 p.m. I got a text from an unknown number with a photo attached. It was Danielle, sitting in what looked like a therapist's office. The text read, "Your girlfriend is here and she's big mad. Thought you'd want proof. Dr. Newberry's receptionist, Kelly." Wait, that seemed unprofessional. Whatever, I'd take it. She went. Holy shit, she actually went. Danielle got home around 8 p.m. I was reading on the couch. She walked in, threw her purse on the counter, and just stood there staring at me. Well, I said. Well, what? How was therapy? Her laugh was bitter. You're hilarious, you know that? I've been told. Dr. Newberry asked me why I was there. I told her my boyfriend scheduled it without my permission to prove a point. You know what she said? What? She said, and how did that make you feel? Like I was the one with the problem. Danielle, you are literally describing therapy. I told her about the vasectomy thing, explained how you're being unreasonable. And she asked if I'd discussed it with you before scheduling. I said no, but I explained my reasoning. 11 years of birth control, my body, my choice, all of it. What did she say? Danielle sat down heavily on the other end of the couch. She said that bodily autonomy goes both ways, that my frustration with birth control is valid, but that doesn't give me the right to make medical decisions for you. Huh. Then she asked if I understood why you scheduled the therapy appointment. I said yes, to be petty and prove a point. She said no, probably to make me understand how violating it feels to have someone else make healthcare decisions for you. Smart lady. Brandon, I spent $180 in an hour of my evening being told I was wrong. Was it helpful? She was quiet for a minute. Maybe. I don't know. She wants me to come back next week. Are you going to? The next session isn't prepaid, so that's my choice. Yep, I'm still mad at you. I'm still mad at you too. She pulled her knees up to her chest, looked smaller suddenly. I really hate hormonal birth control. It makes me feel crazy. My skin breaks out, I gain weight, my mood is all over the place. Then let's talk about other options, together, like partners. What if none of them work? What if we try everything and it's just not sustainable? Then we figure it out. But Danielle, you can't just decide for both of us. That's not how this works. I know. Dr. Newberry made that very clear. We sat in silence for a while. I'm sorry, she finally said. Really sorry. Not sorry I didn't ask first. Sorry I thought I had the right to decide at all. Thank you. Are we okay? I don't know yet. This isn't just about the vasectomy thing. It's the pattern, the t-shirts, the office, the chair. You keep making decisions about my life without involving me. I know. That needs to stop. I know. For real this time. She nodded, wiped her eyes. Dr. Newberry said I have control issues. Something about childhood stuff, my parents' divorce, blah blah. Wants to work through it? You should. Will you come with me? Not to my session, but like, maybe couples counseling? Maybe, if you actually commit to addressing this. I will, I promise. We sat there a while longer. Things felt fragile but not broken. Not yet. For what it's worth, she said quietly, scheduling the therapy thing was brilliant. Evil but brilliant. Learned from the best. She threw a pillow at me, managed a small smile. Final update. It's been 3 months, figured I'd close out this saga. Danielle did go back to therapy, has been going weekly. Dr. Newberry diagnosed her with what's apparently called anxious control patterns. Basically, when you feel out of control in your life, you try to control everything around you. Her parents' messy divorce when she was 13 messed her up more than she realized. She's working on it. I can see the difference. Small things, like asking before rearranging stuff, checking with me before making plans that involve both of us, actually listening when I say I don't like something. The big things too. She brought up the birth control thing again 2 weeks ago, but this time we actually talked about it. Turns out her doctor had suggested an IUD years ago, but Danielle was scared of the insertion pain. We researched together, read reviews, watched videos. She decided to try it. Got it done last week. Said the pain wasn't as bad as she'd feared and she already feels better being off the hormones. I offered to come to the appointment with her. She said no, she needed to do it herself, but she appreciated the offer. Progress. We started couples counseling too, every other week. It's awkward and uncomfortable and sometimes we leave sessions mad at each other. But it's helping. We're learning how to actually communicate instead of just assuming we know what the other person wants. The therapist asked me why I didn't just leave after the vasectomy thing. Honest answer? Because despite the control issues, Danielle's funny, smart, ambitious, and when she's not trying to run my life, I really love being with her. People are flawed. Relationships take work. I'm willing to put in the work if she is. She asked me the same question. Why didn't I leave? She said because I called her out instead of just accepting it. Because I made her see how screwed up her behavior was without being cruel about it. Because the therapy thing, while petty, showed her I wasn't going to be a doormat. You're the first person who actually pushed back, she said in session. Everyone else just let me steamroll them. My ex-boyfriends, my friends, even Veronica. You're the first person who said no and meant it. The couples therapist nodded. Boundaries are healthy. They're not punishment, they're respect. We're not perfect. Had a fight last week because she bought groceries without checking what we needed first, and half of it went bad. But she caught herself mid-argument, stopped and said, "You're right. I should have asked what you wanted." That's growth. Veronica still thinks I'm controlling. She sent me a long text after finding out about couples counseling saying I was manipulating Danielle into thinking she was the problem when clearly we both had issues. I sent back, "You're right, we both have issues. That's why we're both in therapy. Thanks for your concern." Blocked her number after that. Don't need her commentary. The therapy appointment thing still comes up sometimes. Danielle's friends think it was manipulative. My friends think it was genius. Our couples therapist thinks it was an unorthodox but effective boundary enforcement that worked in this specific situation but shouldn't become a pattern. Fair enough. Am I happy? Mostly. Some days are hard. Trust takes time to rebuild. But I'm not walking around wondering what decisions she'll make for me next. That's worth something. Danielle's making dinner right now. She asked what I wanted. Small thing. Huge thing. We're getting there. My wife cheated with my coworker for 5 months. I said nothing. Just documented everything. Hotel receipts, text screenshots, photos. When she filed for half my assets in the breakup, I showed my attorney the evidence, including the $8,000 in business trips she'd taken with him on our joint credit card. When the judge ordered her to pay me $12,000 in restitution, I, 36 male, am writing this because honestly, I need to get it out somewhere. My wife, 34, has been cheating on me for 5 months. And before you ask, yes, I know for sure. Yes, I have proof. And no, I haven't said a word to her about it. We work at the same company, different departments. She's in marketing, I'm in software dev. Been married 8 years, together for 10, no kids thankfully. Found out completely by accident. She left her phone on the bathroom counter one night. It buzzed while she was in the shower. I glanced over and saw a text from someone saved as Conference Room B in her contacts. The preview said, "Still thinking about yesterday. You're incredible." My stomach just dropped. You know that feeling when you know something's wrong but your brain hasn't caught up yet? That. Opened her phone. Full conversation history. Explicit messages. Photos I really wish I could unsee. Plans to meet up. And here's the part that made me physically sick. It was my coworker. This guy literally sits a few rows behind me. We've played softball together, had beers after work. I thought we were friends. So there I was, standing in my bathroom looking at months of messages between my wife and this dude. Reading about how they'd been meeting up at hotels, how good the sex was, how she wished she'd found him sooner. Normal reaction would be to storm into that bathroom and confront her, right? Scream, throw stuff, kick her out. I didn't do any of that. Something just clicked in my brain. Went completely cold. Because mixed in with all the gross affair stuff, there were other messages. Her talking about our finances, our assets, how she was setting things up for a divorce, how I was so oblivious I'd never see it coming. One message literally said, after I file, he's gonna be so blindsided, lol. Can't wait to take half his 401k. She wasn't just cheating, she was planning to screw me financially too. So I made a decision right there. I wasn't going to confront her. I was going to document everything and let her walk straight into her own trap. Put her phone back exactly where it was, got in bed, stared at the ceiling for hours while she slept next to me. Started planning. The next morning I acted completely normal, made coffee, kissed her goodbye, went to work, came home, made dinner, watched TV, like nothing happened. But every night after she fell asleep, I'd take her phone and screenshot everything. Every message, every photo, every plan they made. Saved it all to a cloud account she didn't know about. Sometimes I'd be up until 2 a.m. just documenting. Then I started tracking our finances. We had these joint credit cards. My dumb idea from when we first got married because I wanted us to be financially transparent. She'd been using them to pay for hotel rooms. Same place every time, this boutique hotel downtown. Always on Tuesday or Thursday afternoons when she knew I had late meetings. Pulled up the credit card statements. Over $8,000 in hotel charges. $8,000 of my money paying for her to sleep with my coworker. She'd put them down as team-building dinners or client meetings if I ever glanced at the statements. I never questioned it because I trusted her. Also found charges for lingerie I'd never seen her wear. Expensive restaurants we'd never been to together. A weekend trip she told me was a girls' weekend, except her friends were all posting from home that weekend and the hotel charge was for 2 people. I contacted a divorce attorney. Didn't file anything yet, just wanted to know where I stood. The attorney was this sharp woman who didn't sugarcoat anything. She looked at what I had so far and said, keep documenting, don't confront. Let her file first if possible. With evidence of adultery and financial infidelity, you can protect your assets. So that's what I did, for 5 months. 5 months of going to work and seeing both of them, watching them do their little secret smiles at each other. Her touching his arm when she walked past his desk, him doing that stupid smirk whenever she was around. 5 months of coming home and pretending everything was fine, asking about her day, listening to her lie to my face about where she'd been. 5 months of sleeping next to someone who thought I was the dumbest person alive. It was actually kind of fascinating in a messed up way. Once you know someone's lying, you start seeing all the tells. She'd shower the second she got home on hotel days. Changed her perfume. I recognized it from the credit card charges. Started working out more, buying new clothes. All the classic affair stuff you read about online. And I just kept documenting. Screenshots. Credit card statements. I even drove by that hotel once on a Thursday and saw both their cars in the parking lot. Took photos of the license plates with timestamps. My attorney was impressed with how thorough I was being. Also maybe a little concerned about my mental state. She asked if I was okay doing this, if the emotional toll was worth it. Told her I'd rather spend 5 months being cold and strategic than spend the next 10 years being broke because I acted on emotion. Last month my wife finally made her move. Came home one evening and sat me down. Very serious face. We need to talk. I knew this was it. 5 months of waiting, about to pay off. Okay, what's up? I'm not happy. I haven't been happy for a long time. I think we should separate. No apology, no explanation of why she's unhappy. Just a flat declaration. I nodded slowly. Kept my face neutral even though my heart was pounding. All right, have you thought about how you want to handle things? She looked almost relieved that I wasn't fighting it. I think we should split everything down the middle, 50-50. It's the fair thing to do. Fair. The woman who spent $8,000 of my dollars on affair hotels thinks fair is splitting everything 50-50. And the condo? We sell it and split the equity, or one of us buys the other out, whatever makes sense. Okay, we should probably get lawyers involved to make sure everything's handled properly. Yeah, that's probably smart. She actually smiled, like she was proud of how mature we were being about this. That was a few weeks ago. She moved out to stay with her sister, said she needed space to think. 2 days after she moved out, I filed for divorce, had her served with papers at work. Apparently my coworker went pale when the process server showed up asking for her. Good. Her attorney sent over her demands within the week. She wanted half of everything. Half my 401k, half the condo equity, half our savings. Plus, she wanted spousal support because she sacrificed career advancement for our marriage. The number she was asking for would have left me basically starting over financially at 36. My attorney's response was a filing with every piece of evidence I'd collected over 5 months. Every screenshot, every hotel receipt, every credit card charge. A timeline showing when each affair meeting happened. Photos of their cars at the hotel. And the key detail: she used joint credit cards that I'm the primary holder on. She's just an authorized user. My attorney argued that's fraud, using marital funds to conduct an affair without my knowledge or consent. The preliminary hearing is next week. Her attorney already called mine trying to work something out before we get in front of a judge. Apparently my wife is very upset and doesn't want this to get messy. Too late for that. Update 1. Holy hell, the hearing was something else. Walked into the courthouse and there she was with her attorney and her sister. She looked rough, like she'd been crying for days. Part of me actually felt bad for a second. Then I remembered the text where she called me too stupid to notice anything. And that feeling went away real quick. Her attorney started by trying to paint me as vindictive. Said I was weaponizing her mistake to punish her for growing apart from me. Claimed our marriage was already dead before the affair even started. My attorney stood up and just started laying out facts. No emotion, no drama. Just evidence. Your Honor, the respondent conducted a 5-month affair while using the petitioner's credit card to fund it. Hotel rooms averaging $280 per visit, twice weekly. Lingerie purchases totaling over $1,000. Expensive dinners, a weekend trip for 2. I watched the judge's face. His eyebrows just kept climbing higher. The respondent told the petitioner these were work-related expenses. The petitioner, trusting his spouse, never questioned the charges. Her attorney tried to jump in. Your Honor, marital assets are marital assets. How they were spent during the marriage, judge cut him off. Counselor, are you arguing that using marital funds to facilitate adultery is the same as using them for household expenses? Dead silence. Then my attorney brought out the text messages, had them printed out and organized by date. The judge read through some of them, the planning messages, the ones where they talked about me. There was one where she'd written, "He's so checked out, he doesn't even notice where I go anymore. Setting myself up nicely for the split. Gonna take half his 401k and get the condo." Judge read that one twice. My wife was crying now. Her sister had her arm around her. I felt nothing watching it. Just empty. "Ma'am," the judge said, looking at her. "Did you write these messages?" She could barely get words out. "Yes, but I didn't mean..." "Did you use your husband's credit card to pay for hotel rooms where you met your affair partner?" Longer pause. "Yes." "Did you tell your husband these were business expenses?" Even longer pause. "Yes." Judge leaned back in his chair. "Here's how this is going to work. The petitioner retains his 401k intact. The marital home will be sold with proceeds split 60-40 in favor of the petitioner to compensate for fraudulent use of marital funds." Her attorney stood up fast. "Your Honor, I'm not finished. The respondent will reimburse the petitioner for the documented hotel expenses of $8,000 plus an additional $4,000 for other affair-related charges clearly shown in the evidence. Total restitution of $12,000 due within 90 days. My wife made this sound like a hurt animal. Furthermore, the petitioner's request for denial of spousal support is granted. The respondent is employed full-time and capable of self-support. Given the documented fraud and deception, I see no grounds for requiring continued financial support." Her attorney tried one more time. "Your Honor, this is excessively punitive." "What's punitive is lying to your spouse while spending their money to cheat on them. We're done here unless you have something relevant to add." We weren't in there more than half an hour total. Outside the courthouse, my wife tried to come up to me. Her sister literally had to hold her back. Please, can we just talk? Please. I looked at her. This woman I'd loved for 10 years, built a life with, trusted completely. Your attorney can contact mine. That's the only communication we need. Her sister got in my face. You're being so cruel. She made one mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. Mistakes are forgetting to buy milk or double booking dinner plans. Sleeping with my coworker for 5 months while using my money to pay for it isn't a mistake. That's a series of deliberate choices. I walked away. Didn't look back. Got home and my coworker, ex-coworker now, more on that later, texted me. Dude, I'm sorry, she told me you guys had an open thing. Deleted it. Blocked his number. Here's what's messing with me though. I won. Got basically everything I wanted legally. Protected my 401k, getting the bigger share of the condo equity. She has to pay me restitution. But coming home to an empty condo still sucks. My attorney warned me this would happen. Said the legal win doesn't fix the emotional damage. She was right. Update 2. Things got worse, obviously. So my wife doesn't have $12,000. Shocking, right? Turns out when you spend all your spare money on affair hotels, you don't have savings. Her attorney filed some motion to reduce the amount or extend the payment timeline. My attorney opposed it with documentation of her income and spending habits. Motion denied. That's when her family got involved. Her mom called me. First time I've talked to her since this all started. She went straight for the guilt trip. She's living in her sister's spare bedroom. She can barely afford to eat. And now you want $12,000 from her? The judge ordered $12,000. I didn't demand anything. The court did based on what she spent on her affair. That's gonna ruin her financially. She's having panic attacks. She can't sleep. Maybe she should have thought about consequences before spending 5 months sleeping with my coworker on my dime. You're being heartless after everything she's done for you. That actually made me laugh. Done for me? I paid the majority of our bills while she found herself career-wise. I supported her through 3 different job changes, and she gave me an STD scare because I had no idea she was sleeping with someone else. Silence on the other end. Tell your daughter to pay her court-ordered restitution and leave me alone. Hung up. Blocked the number. Few days later, I found out through a mutual friend that my wife's been posting vague stuff on social media. Nothing direct, just implications about financial abuse and controlling ex-partners and finally breaking free. Doesn't name me specifically, but anyone who knows us can figure it out. The comments are exactly what you'd expect. Her friends rallying around her, calling me all kinds of names. People who don't know the full story, acting like I'm some villain. My attorney said, don't respond publicly. Let her have social media. You have a court order. That's what matters. Then my coworker quit. Just straight up resigned out of nowhere. Found out through the office gossip chain that HR was investigating him for violating the workplace relationships policy. He bounced before they could fire him. Can't say I feel bad about that. The condo went on the market, we priced it to sell fast, just wanted it gone, got an offer within a week. Actually over asking. This market is insane. Had to meet my wife at the title company to sign everything. First time seeing her since court. She looked terrible. Not saying that to be mean, she genuinely looked sick. Lost weight, dark circles under her eyes, hair wasn't even brushed properly. We sat on opposite sides of the waiting room. Didn't speak. Her sister was with her again, shooting death glares at me the whole time. When we sat down to sign, the title agent went through all the numbers. She was getting about $53,000 after her 40% cut and paying off her share of the mortgage. I was getting around $77,000. The agent mentioned the restitution order, that she'd need to pay me the $12,000 separately. Her sister lost it. This is insane. That money was for both of them. How is it fraud if they're married? The agent looked super uncomfortable. Ma'am, there's a court order here. I'm just following the legal documents. It's complete bullshit. My wife grabbed her sister's arm. Stop. Just stop. We signed everything. Got our copies. My wife stood up and looked directly at me. I hope you're happy now. I actually thought about that for a second. No, I'm not happy. I'm 36, getting divorced, selling a place I thought I'd spend the rest of my life in. My wife of 8 years cheated on me with someone I worked with every day. I'll probably have trust issues for years. So no, I'm not happy. Picked up my folder. But at least I have my dignity. Left her standing there. The settlement money hit my account a few days later. After attorney fees, I cleared about $68,000. Started looking at smaller places. Something with no memories attached. My wife has 2 months to pay the restitution. Her attorney keeps filing for extensions. My attorney keeps fighting them. It's exhausting, honestly. The mutual friends are picking sides now. Lost a couple who bought her financial abuse story. The ones who actually know what happened have stuck around. My boss pulled me aside at work, asked if I was doing okay, said he'd heard some rumors but wanted my side. I gave him the basic version, found out about an affair, filed for divorce. It got complicated. He nodded. Told me if I needed time off to just let him know. Said what I did took guts. Not sure about that. Some days I think I handled it right. Other days I wonder if I should have just taken the 50-50 split and moved on quietly. But then I remember those messages, how they laughed about me, how she called me stupid and clueless. Nah, I handled it exactly right. Final update. It's finally over, like actually over. Divorce is finalized and I need to close this chapter. My wife paid the restitution. Not because she wanted to, her family covered it. Her dad apparently liquidated some investments to pay it. Found out through someone who knows someone that he was furious with her, told her not to come to him for money ever again. The $12,000 hit my account a couple weeks back. Electronic transfer. No note, no message, just the money. Thought I'd feel victorious or something. Mostly I just felt tired. I moved into a smaller condo across town. 1 bedroom, decent balcony, 0 memories. Living alone after 10 years of sharing space is weird. The silence is peaceful, but also depressing. Started seeing a therapist. First session, she asked if I felt guilty about how everything went down. Honestly? Yeah, sometimes. Not guilty for exposing the affair or protecting myself financially. Guilty for how cold I became. For turning off my emotions like a switch and just operating. For spending 5 months pretending while documenting everything. Therapist said, that was trauma response. Self-preservation mode. Maybe she's right. Doesn't make it feel better. The social media drama died down eventually. My wife deleted all her vague posts after someone who knew the real story commented asking if financial abuse meant using your husband's credit card for affair hotels. She ended up blocking half her friends after that. Heard through the grapevine, she's renting a studio now. Working long hours, trying to rebuild savings. Her sister apparently stopped talking to her after finding out my wife had borrowed $3,000 from her last year, claiming it was for medical bills. It wasn't. My coworker moved out of state, got a job at some startup. Someone told me he's engaged now to someone he met online. Good for him, I guess. Still can't think about him without getting angry, but it's getting duller. Dating has been hard. Downloaded the apps, went on a few dates. Can't shake this feeling that everyone's hiding something. Every time someone's vague about their day, my brain goes to worst-case scenarios. Therapist says that'll fade with time. Trying to believe her. Got a message last week from my ex-wife's best friend. Woman who was at our wedding who I'd known for years. I wanted you to know I'm sorry. She told us you'd grown apart mutually. I didn't know about the affair until after court. What she did was wrong. You deserved better. I thanked her. Didn't really know what else to say. There's no dramatic ending here. No big karma moment where my ex-wife's life falls apart. She's dealing with consequences, financial problems, damaged relationships, reputation hit among people who know the truth. But she's still living her life, probably moving forward. And I'm doing the same. The money from the condo sale plus the restitution is sitting in savings. Down payment on a house eventually maybe. Or I'll invest it. Haven't decided. Work is fine. Sometimes awkward when people who don't know ask about my ex. I keep it short. We divorced, didn't work out. Started running. Just around the neighborhood a few times a week. Helps clear my head. No dramatic transformation or anything. Just 30 minutes of not thinking about anything except breathing and moving. Some days are okay. Some days I come home and the silence hits wrong and I order takeout and fall asleep watching whatever's on Netflix. This is what recovery looks like, I guess. Not linear, not inspiring, just ongoing. Do I regret documenting everything? No. If I'd confronted her right away, I'd be in a way worse position financially. That evidence protected me. Do I regret the coldness? The 5 months of pretending? That's more complicated. Therapist asked me, if you could go back, would you do anything differently? I thought about it. No, but I wish I hadn't needed to do it at all. My ex texted me last week from a new number. Just said I'm sorry. Didn't respond. There's nothing left to say between us. The divorce is done. Restitution is paid. Condo is sold. All the paperwork is filed away in a folder I'll probably never open again. I'm 36, single, starting completely over. Not the life I planned, but it's what I've got. And slowly, day by day, I'm learning to be okay with that. My wife demanded, sign the house over to me or I'm leaving tonight. I replied, let me get a pen. Then I handed her divorce papers instead. When she read the private investigator's report attached, her bags were already packed, but not for the reason she planned. I, 41 male, have been married to my wife for 12 years. We have no kids, she never wanted them, and I eventually accepted that. I built my landscaping business from nothing, starting with a used pickup truck and a borrowed lawnmower. Now I employ 14 people and own the house we live in outright. Paid it off 3 years ago. Last Tuesday evening, she came home from book club, more on that later, and found me in the living room watching TV. She was dressed like she was going to a cocktail party, not discussing the latest bestseller with her friends. She stood in the doorway with her arms crossed. We need to talk. I muted the TV. Okay. I've been thinking about our future, about what I need, and I've decided I need security. Real security. We have security. The house is paid off. Business is good. Your business, your house, everything is in your name. This wasn't new. She'd been making comments like this for months. Little jabs about how unfair it was that I owned everything. How she felt like she was just a guest in our life together. I'd offered to add her to accounts to give her more access. She always declined, saying it was too complicated. Looking back, I realized she didn't want access. She wanted ownership. Complete control. You want me to add you to the deed? No, I want you to sign the house over to me. Completely. Tonight. I actually laughed. Couldn't help it. You want me to give you the house I bought before we were married, that I paid off with money I earned, just give it to you? It's only fair. I've supported you for 12 years, managed this household, put my career on hold. Her career was a part-time job at a boutique that she quit after 2 years because her boss was toxic. She hadn't worked in 8 years. And if I don't? She picked up her purse from the hallway. I noticed for the first time that there were 2 suitcases by the front door, packed, ready. Then I'm leaving tonight, and I'm taking half of everything in the divorce anyway, so you might as well make this easy. I looked at those suitcases, looked at her face, the certainty in her expression, the rehearsed ultimatum, the bags already packed before she even asked. This wasn't a negotiation, this was a script, and I knew exactly who had written it with her. Let me get a pen, I said. Her face lit up. Actually lit up, like she'd won. I walked to my home office, but I didn't grab a pen. I grabbed the manila folder that had been sitting in my locked desk drawer for 3 weeks. When I came back, she had her phone out, probably ready to text someone the good news. Here, I said, handing her the folder. She opened it, expecting a deed transfer. What she found was a petition for divorce, and behind it a 42-page report from a private investigator. I watched her face change. Confusion first, then recognition, then terror. The report documented 3 months of surveillance, her book club meetings that took place at hotels, her shopping trips that ended at his apartment, photos of them together, holding hands, kissing, entering rooms, time-stamped, dated, exposed. How? She whispered. Your story about book club didn't add up. You were reading The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo for 4 months straight. The book's 400 pages, so I hired someone to find out what you were actually reading. She flipped through the pages, her hands shaking. There were credit card receipts, gifts she'd bought him with our money, messages the PI had photographed when she left her phone unlocked at a coffee shop, a timeline of the affair going back 14 months. You've been spying on me? I've been protecting myself from someone who was planning to leave me for another man while stealing my house on the way out. Those bags by the door, they weren't packed because you were bluffing. They were packed because you were planning to move in with him tonight. She couldn't deny it. The report included his address, an apartment in a nice part of town. The PI had photographed her car there overnight on 6 separate occasions. I can explain. You really can't. But here's what's going to happen. You're going to sign those divorce papers, you're going to take your suitcases, and you're going to leave my house. Our house. The deed says otherwise. I bought it 3 years before we married. It's not marital property. I'll fight this. I'll get a lawyer. You should. You're going to need one. She tried crying. Real tears, real sobbing. And maybe 2 years ago, it would have worked. I'd always been a sucker for her tears. Every argument we'd ever had, she'd cry and I'd apologize, even when I knew I was right. It was a pattern I'd never recognized until I was forced to see our relationship clearly. But I'd spent 3 weeks looking at photos of her with another man, reading transcripts of their conversations about their future together, seeing the life she was building without me while pretending to be my wife. The tears didn't move me anymore. They just looked like another manipulation. I gave you 12 years, she said through tears. You gave me lies? The last 14 months at least, maybe longer. It just happened. Book club just happened. Hotel rooms just happened. The apartment you were planning to move into tonight just happened. She went silent. I pointed at the door. Your suitcases are already packed. Convenient. Use them. She picked up her bags with shaking hands. At the door she turned back. You're going to regret this. I'm going to take everything. You're going to try. She left. I locked the door behind her. Then I sat on my couch and stared at the wall for about an hour. 12 years. 12 years of building a life together. And this is how it ended. Not with a conversation about problems we could work on. Not with counseling or compromise. But with an ultimatum and packed bags. Planned to the minute. I'd known for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of smiling at her across the dinner table, watching her get ready for her book club, listening to her talk about her day. 3 weeks of knowing my marriage was a performance, and she was the only one who didn't know she'd been exposed. The hardest part was the acting, pretending everything was normal when I had photos of her kissing another man on my phone, pretending to believe her lies when I knew exactly where she'd been, who she'd been with, what she'd been doing. I'd wanted to confront her immediately. The night I got the first batch of photos from the PI, I nearly lost it. Sat in my truck outside our house for an hour, just gripping the steering wheel, trying to decide what to do. But I'd called my lawyer first. She'd been clear. Don't confront her until you have all the evidence. Don't give her time to delete messages, hide assets, or craft a narrative. Build your case, then act. So I waited, and it was the longest 3 weeks of my life. Update 1. 1 week later. The entitlement started immediately. The morning after she left, I got a call from her mother. I let it go to voicemail. The message was 20 minutes of screaming about how I was throwing away 12 years and humiliating her daughter and being cruel for no reason. No reason. Like the photos of her daughter with another man were nothing. Then came the text from her sister. You're really doing this over a mistake? She was unhappy. That's your fault. Real men fight for their marriages. I didn't respond, just screenshotted everything and sent it to my lawyer. Speaking of my lawyer, I found a good one, expensive, but worth it. She reviewed my situation and gave me the breakdown. The house was mine, purchased before marriage, paid off with separate funds. In our state, that's clear separate property, not up for division. My business was more complicated. Started before marriage, but grew significantly during. She could claim a portion of the appreciation. My lawyer estimated 20 to 30% depending on what a judge decided. Spousal support was likely. 12 years of marriage, she hadn't worked in 8. Even with the affair, courts in our state don't really factor that into alimony calculations. No-fault divorce means no fault, my lawyer explained. The affair helps with asset division arguments, but you'll probably still get support. That stung, paying the woman who cheated on me to maintain her lifestyle while she built a new life with someone else. But that's the law. Then came the first dirty trick. Her lawyer sent mine a letter claiming I had forcibly removed her from the marital home and denied her access to her belongings. They wanted emergency access to the house to retrieve her personal property. I hadn't denied her anything. She'd packed her bags herself. She'd walked out on her own 2 feet. I agreed to a supervised retrieval. My lawyer present, her lawyer present. Scheduled for Saturday. She showed up with a moving truck, not a car, a full-size moving truck. "What are you doing?" I asked. "Getting my belongings. Your clothes and personal items, not the furniture I bought." Her lawyer stepped in. "My client has a right to marital property. The furniture was purchased before the marriage. I have the receipts." I'd spent the week gathering every receipt, every bank statement, every proof of purchase I could find. The TV? Bought it in 2011, 3 years before we married. The couch? Same. The dining room set was the only thing she'd contributed to, and even that was purchased with my credit card that she was authorized to use. She ended up leaving with 6 boxes of clothes, shoes, and personal items. The moving truck was embarrassingly empty. "This isn't over," she said as she left. "I know." 2 days later, I got a call from the police. She'd filed a report claiming I was harassing her with threatening text messages. I'd sent her exactly 2 texts since she left. 1. "Your lawyer can contact my lawyer for any divorce-related communication." 2. "Saturday at 10 a.m. works for the property retrieval." I showed the officers both messages. They looked at each other, clearly annoyed at having their time wasted. "Sir, we have to follow up on these reports." "I understand. Here's my lawyer's card if you need anything else." They left. My lawyer added this to the file. "Pattern of false accusations," she noted. "Judges don't like that." The false police report was particularly infuriating. She'd actually told them I was sending her threatening messages. The officers had to come to my door, ask questions, treat me like a potential criminal, all because she was angry that her plan hadn't worked. This is what I'd been warned about. In these situations, the man is assumed to be the problem. The officers were professional, but I could tell they'd arrived expecting to find an angry, controlling husband. Instead, they found 2 polite text messages about divorce logistics. It wouldn't be the last time she tried to paint me as the aggressor, but at least now I had documentation that her accusations were baseless. Update 2, 3 weeks later. The discovery phase of the divorce revealed some interesting things. First, my wife had been siphoning money for months, not from our joint checking account. I'd have noticed that, but from a credit card in my name that she was authorized to use. She'd been taking cash advances. Small amounts, $200 to $300 at a time, spread out over months so they wouldn't trigger any alerts. Over 14 months, it added up to over $8,000. The credit card company confirmed the withdrawal locations. ATMs near his apartment, near hotels where they'd stayed, near restaurants where they'd had dinner. She was funding their entire relationship with money she was stealing from our marriage. Where did the money go? Based on the PI's report, most of it went to gifts for him. Designer clothes for his birthday. Expensive dinners. Weekend getaways when I thought she was visiting her sister. She'd been financing their entire affair with money from our accounts. My lawyer was delighted. This undermines her claim that she contributed equally to the marriage. She was actually draining marital assets. Second, her affair partner was married too. The PI had dug deeper at my request. Turns out he was separated from his wife, which really meant he was still legally married, living in an apartment while they worked things out. His wife didn't know about my wife. She thought he was taking space to reflect on their marriage. I briefly considered reaching out to her. Decided against it. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Third, my wife's demands got more outrageous. Her lawyer submitted a list of what she wanted. The house. Despite it being separate property, 50% of the business, $4,200 a month in spousal support, her legal fees paid by me. The car I bought her, which was in my name, a lump sum of $75,000 for contributions to marital partnership. My lawyer actually laughed when she showed me the list. She's starting high to negotiate down. Standard tactic. But this is ambitious. We responded with our counter. House stays mine, separate property. 15% of business appreciation paid over 3 years. $1,800 spousal support for 2 years. Each party pays their own legal fees. She can keep the car. It was a 2019 Toyota with 85,000 miles, worth maybe $12,000. No lump sum. She rejected it immediately. Of course. But the real escalation came from her family. Her brother showed up at my business, just walked into my office while I was meeting with a client about a major commercial landscaping contract. "We need to talk." I apologized to my client, a property manager who controlled contracts for 3 apartment complexes, and stepped outside. "Great first impression." "Thanks, brother-in-law. Your sister made her choices. I'm not discussing this with you." "She made a mistake. You're destroying her over it. She had a 14-month affair, stole $8,000 from our accounts, and tried to get me to sign over my house before walking out the door. That's not a mistake. That's a plan. You spied on her like some kind of stalker. I hired a licensed professional to confirm what I suspected. Everything was legal. Every photo taken in public places, every piece of evidence obtained without breaking any laws. You ruined her life." "She ruined her marriage. I'm just responding to it. If you want to be angry at someone, be angry at the person who chose to cheat for over a year while pretending everything was fine." He stepped closer. For a moment, I thought he might actually take a swing. "You're going to regret this." I pulled out my phone. "Say that again, closer to the microphone." He left. I added it to the file. Then her mother called my mother, gave her an earful about how I was being cruel and vindictive and destroying her daughter's mental health. My mom, bless her, responded with, "Maybe your daughter shouldn't have slept with another man for a year while married to my son." Click. The mediation was scheduled for next month. My lawyer warned me to prepare for a fight. Update 3. The mediation and aftermath. The mediation was held in a conference room at the courthouse. Me, my lawyer, my wife, her lawyer, and a mediator who looked like she'd rather be literally anywhere else. My wife looked different. Thinner. Tired. Her lawyer had clearly coached her to look sympathetic. Modest dress, minimal makeup, no jewelry except her wedding ring. Still wearing that, apparently. The mediator started with a standard speech about finding common ground. My wife's lawyer jumped in immediately. "My client has been traumatized by this process. She was forced from her home with only the clothes on her back." "She packed 2 suitcases before issuing an ultimatum," my lawyer interrupted. "She left voluntarily and has been denied access to marital assets." "There are no marital assets. The house is separate property. We've provided documentation." The mediator held up her hands. "Let's focus on what can actually be divided." We went through it all. The business was the sticking point. My wife's lawyer argued she'd sacrificed her career to support my work, which entitled her to a significant portion. "What career?" my lawyer asked. "She worked part-time retail for 2 years, over a decade ago. She managed the household, which allowed him to focus on building his business. She also conducted a 14-month affair and embezzled over $8,000 during that time." The mediator looked at the PI report, at the credit card statements, at the timeline of the affair. "This does complicate your client's position," she told my wife's lawyer. My wife finally spoke. "I made a mistake, but that doesn't erase 12 years of marriage." "No," I said, "but it explains why you were so eager to get me to sign over the house before you walked out." "That's not, I wasn't. Your bags were packed, his apartment was ready, you had the whole thing planned. The only part you didn't expect was me saying no." She didn't have an answer for that. The mediation lasted 4 hours. In the end, we reached an agreement, not because either side was happy, but because going to trial would cost us both more than we'd gain. My lawyer had warned me about this part. Trials are expensive and unpredictable. Even with strong evidence, judges have discretion. A bad day, a sympathetic view of your wife, and suddenly you're paying more than you should. Sometimes the smart move is to settle for something you can control, rather than gamble on something you can't. I hated it. Every fiber of my being wanted to fight, to make her face a judge and explain her actions in open court. But my lawyer was right. A trial could take a year, cost $50,000 in legal fees, and might not give me a better outcome than what we could negotiate now. So we negotiated. For 4 exhausting hours. The settlement. The house remained mine. Completely. This wasn't negotiable. Her lawyer tried one more time to argue marital home status, pointing out that we'd lived there together for 12 years. But the deed was in my name, purchased with my money, before we were married. The law was clear. She got 20% of the business's appreciation during the marriage. About $68,000, paid over 4 years. I didn't love it, but my lawyer said a judge might have given her more. She'll argue she supported your career by managing the household. It's a weak argument, but not groundless. 20% with the affair evidence is actually a decent outcome. Spousal support. $2,100 per month for 3 years. After that, she was on her own. She wanted indefinite support. She didn't get it. Her lawyer argued she'd sacrificed her earning potential for the marriage. Mine countered that she'd had 8 years to find employment and chose not to. The mediator sided with a time-limited approach. She kept the car, whatever was in her personal bank account, about $3,000, and her personal belongings. No lump sum. No legal fees, no house. The $8,000 in credit card cash advances was considered advanced distribution of marital assets and was deducted from her settlement. My lawyer's language, but basically she got nothing extra for the money she'd already stolen. Her lawyer tried one more push. My client requests that the PI report be sealed from any court records. No, my lawyer said, it's embarrassing and it's evidence of conduct relevant to the dissolution of marriage. It stays on record. We signed the papers. It was done. Afterward in the parking lot, my wife caught up to me. She'd been walking with her lawyer, but she broke away and approached me alone. Are you happy now? She asked. Her voice was bitter, but there was something else underneath. Desperation, maybe. Happy isn't the word. I gave you 12 years. You gave me 12 years of what I thought was a marriage. Turns out the last 14 months were a lie, maybe longer. It didn't mean anything, with him. It was just, I was lonely, you were always working, I felt invisible. The excuses, always the excuses. I'd heard them all in the PI's report, the same lines she'd fed him about how neglected she felt, how I didn't appreciate her. Funny how she'd never mentioned feeling lonely to me, never asked for couples counseling, never suggested we spend more time together. She'd just found someone else. If you were lonely, you could have talked to me. You could have told me something was wrong. Instead, you had an affair for over a year and then tried to steal my house. I wasn't trying to steal. Sign the house over to me, or I'm leaving tonight. Those were your exact words. Your bags were packed. His apartment was waiting. What would you call that? She didn't have an answer. Where is he now, by the way? I asked. The apartment ready for you two? Her face tightened. That's none of your business. But I already knew. The PI had kept tabs as a courtesy. The affair partner's wife had found out about my wife. Someone must have tipped her off. She'd filed for divorce too. And he, facing his own consequences, had apparently decided that my wife was too much drama. She was staying with her parents. 48 years old, sleeping in her childhood bedroom, with a divorce settlement that would barely cover rent. Not my problem. Goodbye, I said, and I meant it. The divorce was finalized 6 weeks ago. I mailed the first quarterly check for her business settlement last week. Writing it hurt, but less than I expected. It's just money. I'll make more. The spousal support is automatic. Direct deposit on the 1st of each month. I try not to think about it. My house is quiet now. 12 years of marriage, and the only thing she left behind was a hairbrush in the bathroom drawer and some expired vitamins in the kitchen cabinet. I threw them both away. I've been slowly reclaiming the space, rearranged the living room furniture, took down the photos of us that lined the hallway, painted the bedroom a different color. She'd chosen the original, and I couldn't look at those walls anymore without thinking of her. It's strange, living alone after so long. The silence is loud sometimes. But it's my silence. My space, my life. My business is fine. Actually, it's doing better. Maybe because I'm focused again. Maybe because I'm not coming home to lies every night. Either way, the books look good. Her family still hates me. Blocked them all. Her mother, her sister, her brother. I don't need their opinions. My family has been supportive. My mom calls every Sunday. My brother came over last weekend to watch football. Small things, but they help. Am I okay? Not really. Not yet. 12 years is a long time. You don't just shake that off because you find out it ended with betrayal. There are moments when I forget, just for a second, and expect to hear her voice. Then I remember, and it hits all over again. The hardest part isn't the betrayal itself, though that's bad enough. The hardest part is questioning everything that came before it. Was any of it real? Did she love me at any point? Or was I always just convenient? Every memory I have of our marriage is now tinted with doubt. Our wedding, our anniversaries, that trip we took for our 10th anniversary where she said she'd never been happier. Was she already thinking about leaving? Already looking for something else? I'll probably never know. And somehow not knowing is worse than any answer she could give me. But I'm better than I was. Every day, a little better. The night she gave me that ultimatum, sign over the house or I'm leaving, she thought she had all the power. She thought I'd crumble, beg, give her whatever she wanted to keep her. She didn't expect me to already know, didn't expect the folder, didn't expect to walk out the door with her own suitcases and nothing else. She wanted to leave me holding nothing while she started her new life. Instead, she left with exactly what she'd earned, a modest settlement, no house, and the knowledge that her husband saw through every lie. Her bags were packed that night. She was right about that. But they weren't taking her where she thought they'd go. I still have the house. I still have my business. I still have my dignity. She has $2,100 a month, a settlement that'll be paid off in 4 years, and a childhood bedroom at her parents' house. Some nights, I think about that ultimatum. Sign the house over to me, or I'm leaving tonight. I didn't sign anything over, and she left anyway. Funny how that worked out. My girlfriend warned, change your attitude or we're done. After I questioned her weekend plans, I replied, I choose done. Then I packed her designer bags and left them at her friend's house where she'd been staying. Her meltdown when she realized I'd known all along was, I, 29 male, had been with my girlfriend 26 for 3 years. Lived together for the past year in my condo. Things were decent until about 3 months ago when her weekend plans started getting real vague. Friday night, she's getting ready to leave. Full face of makeup, new dress I'd never seen, smells like she bathed in expensive perfume. Where are you headed? Simple question. She spins around. Out with friends. Why? You keeping tabs on me now? Just asking. Which friends? Does it matter? God, you're so controlling lately. I'm controlling for asking where my girlfriend's going dressed like that at 9 p.m.? There it is, your attitude. I'm so sick of it. She grabbed her purse. Designer bag I bought her for her birthday, $800. You know what? I'm done with this. Change your attitude or we're done. I'm not dealing with your jealousy anymore. I looked at her. Really looked at her. The defensiveness, the anger over a simple question, the new clothes, the late nights. I choose done. She froze. What? You said change my attitude or we're done. I choose done. We're done. You can't be serious. Dead serious. Have fun with your friends. She stood there, mouth open, then grabbed her keys. Fine. Don't come crying to me later. Slammed the door. Gone. I sat on the couch, pulled out my phone, opened the app I'd installed on our shared tablet last week, the one she didn't know tracked location. Been watching it for days. Every girl's night ended at the same address. Male coworker's apartment. Guy from her office she mentioned a few times. Always said they were just friends. Sure, just friends she spent Friday and Saturday nights with. Just friends whose place she went to after work some days. Took me maybe an hour to pack her stuff. Clothes, shoes, makeup, all those designer bags and accessories I'd bought her. 3 suitcases and 4 boxes. Loaded them in my truck. Grabbed the address from the tracker. 20-minute drive. Showed up at his apartment building around 11, nice place. Saw her car in the lot, visitor parking, took a photo. Started hauling her stuff to the main entrance. Building had a doorman. Can I help you? Yeah, dropping off some belongings for a resident. She left these at my place. Called her from the lobby. She answered. Music in the background. What? Hey, I'm downstairs at your friend's place. Have some of your stuff. Want to come get it or should I leave it with the doorman? Silence. Then, what are you talking about? I'm at the address where you've been spending your weekends. Got your stuff. 3 suitcases, 4 boxes. Everything designer you own. Figured since you're staying here so much, might as well bring it all. More silence. I don't know what you're talking about. Apartment 304. That's where I am. Your car's in the parking lot. Saw it when I pulled in, so either come get your stuff or I'm leaving it here. Hung up. Waited maybe 3 minutes. Elevator dinged. She came rushing out. Different clothes, sweatpants, hoodie, no makeup, hair messy. What the hell are you doing? Bringing you your stuff. We're done, remember? Your choice. You can't just show up here. Why not? You're here. Her coworker appeared behind her. Tall guy, early 30s. Everything okay? Fine, she snapped. Turned to me. This is insane. You're embarrassing me. I'm embarrassing you? You've been spending weekends with him while living with me. Pretty sure that's embarrassing. The guy looked uncomfortable. Maybe we should talk about this privately. Nothing private about it anymore, I said. Here's her stuff. She's all yours. Started walking out. She followed me. Wait, you can't just leave like this. Watch me. You don't understand. It's not what you think. Really? What is it then? We're just friends. I've been helping him with work stuff. At 11 p.m. on a Friday? In sweatpants? Sure. You've been tracking me? That's illegal. Tracking our shared tablet that you carry everywhere? Pretty sure that's legal. You agreed to the Find My Device feature. You're crazy. I'm crazy for noticing my girlfriend spends every weekend at another guy's apartment? Okay. The doorman was watching this whole thing, trying not to laugh. Her coworker stepped forward. Look, man, maybe we should all calm down. I'm perfectly calm, I said. I'm done. She's your problem now. Walked to my truck. She chased me into the parking lot. Please, can we talk about this? Nothing to talk about. You gave me an ultimatum. I made my choice. Enjoy your weekend. Drove home. Blocked her number. Changed my locks that night. $200 locksmith fee. Worth it. Went to bed actually feeling relieved. Update 1, 3 days later. The text started Sunday. From her friend's phone since I'd blocked her. We need to talk? You're overreacting. It's not what you think. Ignored them all. Blocked those numbers too. Monday, her best friend showed up at my door. She's devastated. You need to hear her out. Nah. You're really gonna throw away 3 years over a misunderstanding? Misunderstanding? She's been sleeping at another guy's apartment every weekend for months. She was helping him. With what? His insomnia? Her friend actually tried the victim card. She's heartbroken. She's been crying for 2 days. Cool. Not my problem anymore. You're being cruel. I'm being realistic. She got caught. Now she's dealing with it. She wasn't cheating. Then why lie about where she was? Why get defensive when I ask simple questions? Why spend every Friday and Saturday night at his place? No answer. Just more, you don't understand. Close the door. That evening, her mom called. My number apparently survived the purge. You need to fix this with my daughter. No thanks. She made a mistake. Multiple mistakes. Every weekend for 3 months. That's not a mistake. That's a pattern. She loves you. Funny way of showing it. You're throwing away a good woman over jealousy. I'm walking away from someone who lied repeatedly and got caught. That's not jealousy. That's self-respect. She's staying with us now, miserable, crying constantly. She has a perfectly good apartment to stay at, apartment 304, with her coworker. Her mom tried guilt-tripping me for another 10 minutes. Didn't work. Hung up. Blocked her too. Wednesday, got a text from an unknown number. This is her. Please, we need to talk. I can explain everything. Already explained yourself when you said we're done. I agreed. Nothing left to discuss. I didn't mean it. I was just upset. You meant it enough to pack a bag and spend the night at his place. Again. Nothing happened. We really are just friends. Friends don't give ultimatums to their boyfriends then spend the night at each other's apartments. That's what couples do. You're being ridiculous. I'm being single. Feels great, actually. Blocked that number too. Thursday, she tried email. Long message about how I misunderstood everything, how she and her coworker were working on a project, how she needed space because I was suffocating her. Replied once, you wanted out? You got out. Enjoy your space. Friday, 1 week after the breakup, her coworker tried calling me. Don't know how he got my number. Voicemail. Hey man, look, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Nothing happened between us. She was just crashing at my place because you guys were fighting. Called him back. We weren't fighting until she started lying about spending weekends with you. Funny how that works. She wasn't lying. She was staying at your apartment every Friday and Saturday for 3 months. Yeah, I know. That's called dating. Congrats on the new girlfriend. It's not like that. Then what's it like? Explain how spending every weekend at another guy's apartment while living with your boyfriend is innocent. He couldn't. Just stammered about it being complicated. Not complicated anymore. She's single, you're single, problem solved. She really cares about you. She really cared about lying to me. We done here? Hung up. Blocked him too. The entitlement was amazing. They really thought I'd just accept we're just friends after months of sneaking around. Update 2. 2 weeks later. Got a letter in the mail. From her. Handwritten. 5 pages about how sorry she was, how it was all innocent, how her coworker was gay, new information apparently, how they were working on starting a business together and needed to meet up late nights and weekends. If he's gay, why lie about being there? Why get defensive? Why give me an ultimatum instead of just explaining? Threw the letter away. Same day, her dad called. Last family member I hadn't blocked yet. You're being stubborn. She made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes. She made the same mistake every weekend for 3 months. That's not a mistake. That's a lifestyle choice. She's my daughter. I raised her better than this. Clearly not. He got quiet, then angry. You're cruel. She's suffering. She's suffering consequences. There's a difference. She wants you back. I don't want her back. Simple. You'll regret this. I regret wasting 3 years on someone who'd rather spend weekends with someone else, but I'm fixing that now. Hung up. Blocked him. 3 days later, she tried showing up at my work. Security called me. There's a woman here asking for you. Says it's urgent. Tell her I'm busy and not to come back. Watched from my office window. Saw her arguing with security. Eventually left. That night, her best friend tried one more time. Left a voicemail. She's planning to come to your place tonight. Just talk to her. Please. She deserves closure. Closure? She got closure when she picked done in her own ultimatum and I agreed. Called my building security. I have an ex who might try to access the building tonight. She's not authorized. If she shows up, don't let her in. Around 9 p.m., my building manager called. Your ex is here, demanding to be let up. We told her no. She's threatening to call the police. Let her. She doesn't live here anymore. She has no right to access. That's what we told her. 20 minutes later, she texted from another unknown number. They won't let me up, please. 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking. No. I have stuff in the apartment. Brought it all to you 2 weeks ago. You were there. I forgot things. Not my problem. You're being petty. I'm being done, like you wanted. I didn't want this. You gave me an ultimatum. I chose. You don't get to take it back because you don't like my choice. She tried calling. Blocked. More texts from different numbers. This is crazy. You're overreacting. Everyone thinks you're being unreasonable. Everyone, being her friends and family who only heard her version. Don't care. I know what happened. I watched it happen on a tracker for weeks before confronting her. She got sloppy, got caught. Now she's dealing with it. Weekend came. Got a call from her coworker again. Different number. Dude, she's staying at my place because she has nowhere to go. Can you please just talk to her? Why is she staying with you if nothing happened? Because she has nowhere else. She has parents, she has friends, she chose you. That's on her. It's not like that. You keep saying that. Nobody believes you. I'm gay. I told you that. She told me that. In a letter, after getting caught spending 3 months worth of weekends at your apartment. It's the truth. Then why not mention it 3 months ago? Why let your friend lie to her boyfriend repeatedly? Why give her a place to stay every single weekend? Silence. Exactly. You're both liars. Figure it out together. Block that number too. 2 days later, my landlord called. Your ex is claiming she's still on the lease. She's demanding a key. She's not on the lease. Never was. Check the paperwork. He checked. You're right. She's not. She tried to say she's been paying rent. She hasn't paid $1 of rent in the year we lived together. I paid everything. That's what I thought. She's pretty upset. She's good at that. She also said you have her property. I delivered everything to her 2 weeks ago. I have photos of me loading boxes into my truck, photos of her building parking lot with her car in it, and texts from that night confirming the delivery. Smart man. Cautious man. Knew she'd try something. The harassment continued for another week. Different phone numbers. Emails from new addresses. Even a message from a stranger saying she was worried about her friend and could I please call. Replied to that one. Her friend chose to spend 3 months lying about weekend plans. Her friend gave me an ultimatum. Her friend is now living with the consequences. Tell her friend to stop using strangers to harass me. Blocked. Final update. 1 month later, things finally quieted down. No more calls, texts, surprise visits. Peace. Found out through mutual friends, the ones who actually asked my side, what happened after. She tried moving in with her coworker. He said no. Apparently having her crash weekends was fine. Full-time roommate was too much. She tried moving back with her parents. They let her, but made her get a job. She'd been part-time before. I covered most expenses. She's working retail now. Full-time. Apparently miserable. Friends said she keeps talking about the biggest mistake of her life. The mistake being giving me an ultimatum? Or the mistake being the 3 months of lying that led to it? Unclear. Either way, not my problem. Her coworker, turns out, wasn't gay. That was a lie to cover the affair. He's now dating someone else. Someone who found out about my ex and dumped him immediately. Karma's funny. Her friends who harassed me stopped when they heard the full story. Turns out my ex told everyone I was controlling and jealous and she needed space. Left out the part where she spent that space at another guy's apartment every weekend for 3 months. When that came out, most of them backed off. The ones who didn't, not my friends anyway, lost nothing valuable there. My life now? Quiet, peaceful. Got into a routine, work, hobbies, friends, actual free time. Realized how much energy I'd been spending trying to figure out why my girlfriend was lying to me. Exhausting. Now? Simple. No lies to decode, no timelines to track, no gut feelings to ignore. Ran into her last week. Total accident. Coffee shop. She was leaving, I was entering. Made eye contact. She looked terrible. Tired, sad, started walking toward me. Hey, can we talk? We are talking. I mean really talk, about us. There is no us. There hasn't been for a month. I know. But I miss you. I made a huge mistake. You made multiple mistakes. Every weekend for 3 months. I wasn't cheating. How many times do I have to say it? Doesn't matter. You lied. Repeatedly. Gave me an ultimatum when I questioned it. I chose my answer. We're done. That's final. But, no buts. You wanted done. You got done. Move on. Have you moved on? I moved on the second you gave me that ultimatum. Been peaceful ever since. That's cold. That's honest. Something you should try sometime. Walked past her. Ordered my coffee. Left. Didn't look back. Someone asked me later if I felt bad. Honestly? No. She created this situation. She lied for 3 months. She gave me an ultimatum expecting me to fold. I called her bluff. She lost. That's not cruelty, that's consequences. Would I take her back? Not a chance. Trust gone? Can't rebuild that. Someone who lies that easily, that consistently, that defensively, that's character, not circumstance. She showed me who she was. I believed her. The revenge wasn't elaborate, didn't ruin her life, didn't blast her on social media, didn't tell everyone we knew, just believed her. She said change or we're done. I chose done. Delivered her stuff to where she was actually staying. Let her deal with her own choices. The satisfaction? Watching her realize I wasn't gonna beg, wasn't going to fight, wasn't gonna play the game. She spent 3 months thinking she had me locked down, that I'd never leave, that she could do whatever and I'd just accept it. Wrong. Her biggest mistake wasn't the lying. It was assuming I needed her more than I needed my self-respect. I didn't. She gave me an out with that ultimatum. I took it. Best decision I made all year. People asked why I didn't fight for the relationship. Simple. Nothing worth fighting for. She wanted something else. Someone else. Whatever. She could have it. Could have him. Could have the whole situation. I wanted peace. I got it. The designer bags I bought her, the ones I packed and delivered, she tried asking for receipts later, claiming I stole them. I had receipts. Sent copies to her and her lawyer. Yes, she got a lawyer for designer bags. Showed purchase dates, my credit card, everything. Her lawyer dropped it immediately. She tried claiming emotional distress. Her lawyer laughed at her. Apparently, boyfriend delivered belongings after breakup isn't grounds for anything except being efficient. Her attempt to paint me as vindictive failed when I showed up with photos of her car at his apartment, location data from our shared tablet, texts where she gave me the ultimatum, proof I delivered her stuff safely. Judge asked her, so he found out you were lying? You told him to change or leave? He left, and then delivered your belongings to where you actually were. What's the problem? She had no answer. Case dismissed. She paid court fees. Another loss. That's where it stands now. She's blocked on everything. Her family's blocked. Her friends are blocked. My building security has her photo with instructions not to let her in. My work has her photo with the same instructions. I've moved on completely. Some people think I'm cold, maybe, but I'm also free. No more lies, no more tracking locations, no more wondering, no more gut feelings, just peace. And honestly, that's worth more than any relationship with someone who'd give me an ultimatum after months of lying. She wanted me to change my attitude of expecting honesty, my attitude of asking questions, my attitude of having self-respect. I didn't change it. I chose done instead. Best choice I ever made. That's the story. Girl lied for months, got caught, gave ultimatum expecting me to cave. I didn't. She lost everything. I gained peace. The end.